Hello and welcome to the Dan Thomas Experience. Really good to be back, and today I am talking all about digital marketing techniques. So how do you use digital marketing to actually further either selling something, creating products, selling services, getting people to engage in your community? I'm going to be covering loads of different aspects in the podcast today for you to consider, and I'm going to be talking about how you kind of leverage these things at scale to actually grow out your community, grow out your business, grow out your products and your sales, and use them every single day to create leads, create business, change behaviors, create outcomes, and do things at scale that you just couldn't do, right? So these are digital marketing techniques that I've been using for years, whether that be through Facebook ads or Instagram ads, whether that be internally in big organizations of like 100,000 plus people, or whether that be in smaller organizations or just online directly through Facebook pages or marketing and all those other things. So it's all about how you kind of set up the end-to-end of your digital marketing suite, what you need to look for, how you do it, and kind of how it all works and how it all fits together. Because oftentimes you see all these ads online and you can see what you're supposed to be doing, but it's really hard to actually picture what is the actual purpose of all of this stuff and how does it all fit together. And all of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about today is very much centered around this concept of a funnel. Now, I'm going to talk about what a funnel means and how a funnel works in this, and then I'm going to talk about how that funnel can be applied in different ways to different use cases, and how you can join that up with squeeze pages, lead pages, retargeting, ad targeting, whether you can do it for webinars, whether you can do it for communities, whether you can do it for website visitors, all of those different concepts. Covering all of that today in the podcast. So stay tuned for all of that. We've got loads and loads to cover. Excited to be talking about all of that stuff. And just before I jump in, just a quick shout out to say, if you haven't done it already, make sure you head over to imdanthomas.com and book in your free coaching session. On my website, I'm doing free coaching where you find your path, set out your future, identify your goals, and work out exactly how you reach them. It's a really, really important half hour, 45 minutes, completely free, and it's going to absolutely change the way that you think, the way you do things, how you set your goals, and how you make progress. All right, so let's jump straight in with how all of this digital marketing stuff works, right? And the concept of digital marketing is, how do you bring people into something and then lead them to a conversion point? And that conversion point could be lots of different things. You might have a conversion point where you're trying to sell something. You might have a conversion point where you're trying to get someone to sign up to a webinar. You might have a conversion point where you're getting someone to join a group or join a community. Whatever your conversion factor is, digital marketing is completely focused on how do you bring people in, convince them that they want the conversion that you are offering, and then lead them into that conversion. And then as an added bonus, potentially upsell them into other things and other products on their way through so that you can upgrade them as they go through. So this concept is called a funnel. And what a funnel means is a pyramid where you're taking lots and lots of traffic and you're having them move through stages of conversions, and so that pyramid is getting smaller as it goes up, right? Because you lose people at every single stage of that as well. But the idea of a funnel is that you're bringing those people in and you're picking out a percentage of them and you're converting them into something. So to give you an example of a funnel, you might have a web page where people come into that web page and you say, sign up for my free ebook. So 10% of those people sign up for your free ebook. They leave you with their email address, and then you have their email address. You send them the ebook, and then you send them to another page that says, hey, guess what? If you're interested in that ebook thing that I talked about, you might also be interested in this course that I'm selling. And they say, yeah, okay, sure. And then they pay for your course. And then you might go to another page that says, hey, if you're interested in that really, really cheap course over here, this sort of $15 quick crash course, maybe you want to upgrade to this $100 course and do this $100 course. And so on and so forth. You wouldn't normally have more than, say, 3 steps in a funnel. But the idea being is that you put traffic into that funnel, and that traffic moves through those conversion points as you bring them through those particular things. So a funnel is designed to be a very, very focused conversion factor. Unlike a website that often has lots of different things going on, it might have blog posts and news stories, it might have lots of different calls to action, it might have ways to read up and find out more about you. A funnel is entirely directed at your one conversion factor. So what a funnel normally uses is something that's called a lead page, and a lead page is a single web page that is entirely dedicated in getting you to do the conversion that is being offered to you at that particular point. Oftentimes you'll see those long lead pages that are just oodles and oodles and oodles of text, and it's like scroll down forever and forever. Those being designed to continuously reinforce the value of whatever it is that you are being sold, right? The idea is the whole page is just dedicated to that one thing, and that's why they're so powerful. They're not loads of noise around your website and loads of different calls to action. They're entirely dedicated as your one conversion factor. So the way you start on your digital marketing journey is, of course, firstly you decide, well, what is your conversion factor? Now, a really good conversion factor to start with is the growth of your email distribution list, right? Email is one of the strongest channels that you can communicate through. With email, those people belong to you. They sit in your CRM. You can communicate to them directly. Whatever happens with Facebook and with Instagram and with all these other platforms, whatever happens, you're always going to have their email address. Whether the algorithms might change later on. We all saw it with Facebook pages, when Facebook pages just suddenly became absolutely useless and completely pay as you go. Now, if you have their email address, you can communicate to them on your own terms, and you own that channel. So growing an email distribution list is a really, really strong way of building out your business, because it's that email distribution list that's then going to create the heart of whatever it is that you want to be talking about, right? Every time you have something new going out, you send an email, you can sell to those people. You can send out newsletters, you can bring in those people and generate more traffic. You've got them as a captured audience, you've got their email address, and that's something that's going to last for the duration. So an email is a really good way to start. Whether that be an email that you own or whether that be in an organization, capturing their email is a really, really good way to start. So a good way to capture emails is to do something that's called a lead magnet. And a lead magnet is something that offers a lot of value to somebody else, that they are going to say, I want that thing and I'm willing to give you my email to get that thing, right? So a classic example of a lead magnet is an ebook or some kind of guide. It might be the 7 great strategies to grow on Instagram, right? And you go to the page, you see a dedicated page just for this particular guide. That's the lead page. And then they say, yeah, I'm going to leave my email address, and now I'm going to sign up, and you're going to send me the guide, right? You get my email address, I get the guide off of you, and you send that to them. Because it's very high value adding, it creates a good relationship with that particular person, and now you have their email address captured that you can do something with. So creating your lead magnet, creating what is your high value item that you can give away is the first part. And normally with digital marketing, your lead magnet is either going to be free or it's going to be very cheap. And it's going to offer a very, very high level of value for what it is that you're giving away, right? Now, we all have specialisms and knowledge in something. Everybody has a lead magnet that they can be producing to be giving away to other people, whether that just be things that you've learned, whether that be a course, whether that be a guide, anything like that. Go ahead and create your lead magnet and start getting people to sign up for this lead magnet. The really strong thing about these lead magnets is they really do actually generate resources and people and leads for you, right? Whereas with a lot of investment in social networking, Instagram, Facebook, it may or may not pay off and you never know quite when it does. With a lead magnet, that's there as something that you can be building up a subscriber list from all the time, and it's going to pay off for you. It's much higher converting than any effort that you're going to do on social networking. and you should be putting together something that you can give away that's going to generate those leads for you. So start having to think about your lead magnet, and then you can start creating your landing page to bring them into. Now, there's lots of different places that you can use to create landing pages. You can just create a landing page on your own website, or you can use specialist landing page people like Lead Pages, who I use. They're amazing. It's so easy to create pages on, so fast, and you can very, very quickly create a lead magnet page over there, link it in with MailChimp or whatever your other email solution is, and very quickly create your lead page. But the idea behind your lead page, again, is one, it's entirely focused around your conversion factor, and two, it's talking all about the value that that person is going to receive, right? So what it should talk about on your lead page is, firstly, what is it that you're giving away? Secondly, how does it add value and what is the value? And then thirdly, what outcomes are they going to get out of applying whatever it is that you're offering them? So let's say you've got a lead page and you're growing your Facebook page on there. You might say, hey, these are 7 quick guides in order to how to grow your Facebook page. These are the 7 tips that they cover. It's going to show you how to grow your page, how to attract an audience, how to grow engagement, how to get more comments, etc. And then the last one is the outcomes you're going to create out of that, right? So by using this guide, you're going to be able to grow your page from 0 to 100 subscribers in 2 weeks. Or you're going to be able to 4 times the engagement you have on your page in a 1-month period. Anything like that, right? Outcome orientated pages so that people can really see what value they're getting out of it and how they can apply it and how they can get value on their side. Then once you've got their email address, you can then potentially upsell them into something else, right? So what will happen on the lead page is they'll give you their email address, you send them the guide by email, you'll send them a link or an attachment by email, and then you can potentially send them to another page, and that next page is that incremental upsell. It's that slight increase, right? So let's say you are building out an advocates network in your organization. The first lead page might be, how do you grow your career in this organization, and 7 tips in order to be able to increase your profile in the organization. And then the next page might be, hey, guess what? There's an even faster way to increase your profile. Why not join our advocates network and grow your profile even further, get access to courses, network, meet other people, increase your profile, all of that stuff. Join our advocates network, and here's a form to join up with it. Now, the reason why it works so powerfully is you've brought them in through a soft lead at the start that is related to the upsell that you go to, so you know they're interested already. And because they're already seeing value in you, then they want to get more value out of you, and they're willing to do that whilst you have them as a captured audience. So that second upsell is always really, really important. You can just leave it at gathering their email address and then maybe communicate with them through that email address, but there's always an opportunity to upsell to those people after they've come through your lead page by offering them some kind of product bump after that lead page, whether that be more opportunities, whether that be buying into a course, whether that be joining a network. But having that second page afterwards gives you that opportunity to really, really upgrade the people that are coming through. Once you have your lead page and they've come in, they've given you their email address, potentially you've brought them to another upsell or a bump after that and they've converted them to something else. Of course, now you want to start communicating with those people. So generally, if you've got their email address, now you can start putting them into an email campaign. And that email campaign will be designed in order to be able to continue to add value and to upgrade them into other things. So you might say, right, download my free ebook, grab their email address, send them the ebook, and then put them into a drip campaign that then adds further value to say, here's some more guides on how to do X, and continue to add further value to them over, say, 3 to 5 emails over, say, a 2-week period, right? And each one of those emails is going to be staggered, it's going to come out every other day or so, and it's going to continue to add value. Now, what you're doing here is you're building up a relationship with that audience so that in a couple of weeks' time, you can then say, hey, I hope you've really been enjoying all of these guides and you've been reading them and you've been getting value out of them. How about really upskilling what you do by coming through my course, right? So again, if you're talking about an organization here, you might bring them into an advocates network. That might be your lead page. And then you start a drip campaign, adds further value to them. And then your upsell might be, hey, do you fancy delivering a training session? And then they have an opportunity to come on a course on how to deliver a training session for themselves, right? It works in any permutation, whether you're talking externally or internally. It really is a very, very efficient, structured way to be bringing people on a journey and then giving them opportunities. And remember, these are always opportunities that are adding value, right? If they're buying into a course, it's going to be a course that adds value to them because they're interested in that thing, right? You're always looking to add value. You're not just creating an ask of them. You're always adding value and saying, hey, you might be interested in this thing that I've got or that we've got, and do you want to get involved in that particular thing? So now you've got them as a captured audience. You're emailing them, you're communicating with them, you're offering them more opportunities, continuing to add value. Those people that have converted, they're with you now, right? They can stay with you, they can stay in this email chain, you've got them, and then there are opportunities to market to in the future. But those people that haven't converted, right, those people that, for example, went to the website and then said, oh, I'm busy, I'm interested in something else, and bounced somewhere else, those are the people that we want to start retargeting afterwards. So you don't let people go. You never ever let people go. If you've brought traffic into your funnel, you always want to be harvesting that traffic again in another way. So let's say someone came to your webpage and they said, oh, I'm interested in your guide on how to grow your career. But then for some reason they just kind of bounced away. They never ended up actually downloading your guide. What you can do now is then retarget them with ads or communications. And the way you do that is you track them on that particular page. So if you're using Facebook, you could use a Facebook pixel. And what a Facebook pixel does is it tracks who lands on your page and then allows you to actually target ads at those people afterwards, right? It actually tracks what they do and allows you to target those people afterwards. So you might say, right, okay, for all the people that have landed on my page but they didn't download my ebook, I'm going to push an ad out to them with that ebook again, right? I'm going to retarget them and push that ad out. Some people might get onto your lead page, they might go to download the ebook, but they never actually end up hitting submit, right? They get to the email a bit and they go, maybe I won't. Or maybe if you've got a product that you want to sell, they might start filling in all of their details, and then just before they're about to hit buy, they have second thoughts and then they don't do it. Again, you can retarget those people. So you can then push things back out to them to say, hey, looks like you've expressed interest in our course. Put another ad together to say, is there something more I can give you? And again, offering them more value is going to be a way that you can get them back. You can say, looks like you expressed interest in our course. We've got an extra bonus giveaway if you buy now. Would you like it? And bring them back in and give them another opportunity and see what it is that they need in order to be able to get over the line and actually do something. Now that is what's called an abandoned cart scenario. So that is somebody who's put your shopping thing into their cart, but then they've ended up not buying it, right? And then you get a message to say, can we help you in another way? Now the beauty of all of this stuff, you've already got their email address from that first step. So you have the opportunity to communicate back with them. And again, if you're talking from an organizational standpoint, right, you've captured their email address, you know they've come to that web page, you can see whether they've hit that web page or not by your analytics. You can then go out and re-communicate back to them and say, hey, are you interested in this particular thing? Do you want to come over in this particular thing? The way ads work in very, very strong conversion factors is when they are targeted back at people who you are reading them and you know what they've done, right? So you can say, hey, it looks like you almost went and bought our product. Maybe we can offer you something else to get you over the line, right? They're ads that are targeted, they're segmented, they understand what people have done, and they create different messaging in order to be able to help people get over the line. That's the whole power of a funnel. Right, every single person that comes into that funnel either gets converted or gets retargeted back again to be put back into the funnel in another way, right? That's the power of it. And again, in organizations, this is something that people don't do. They do the first bit. They put all the energy in to create all the traffic, and they push a whole bunch of people to things. They try it once, they don't repeat it, and then all the people that haven't been able to convert at that particular time, they just leave behind. And what happens? Well, we have to try harder and harder and harder to actually get that traffic back, to actually get people interested again, instead of going back to the people that were interested and converting them and getting them over the line. That's the real power of digital marketing, is when you focus on not just the people that you're converting, on all the people that almost converted, all the people that were interested, and you retarget them and you bring them back in because you know they have a vested interest, but for whatever reason, they have yet to convert. So ads, if you're creating ads, it's not about the one ad, right? It's about 5 or 10 ads for different segments to handle different things, and it's about what you do with the people after they've expressed interest. If you just make a single Facebook ad with no retargeting, you are at the behest of the ad and the landing page, and that will only be as efficient as it could be. But you won't be making it much, much more efficient by retargeting people afterwards and saying, hey, you're interested and would you like to convert? That's where the power of digital marketing comes in. It's that end-to-end pulling in, pushing through your funnel. And of course, you measure all of this success by your conversion rate. And your conversion rate is the percentage of people that actually go to convert into something, right? So you have 100 website visitors, 9 of them download your ebook, 9% conversion rate. And that's what you're looking to always boost, is the efficiency of your website, of your lead pages, of your ads. You're always looking to boost that conversion rate so that you are managing to get those leads as cheaply as possible. Because, of course, you're paying for all of that stuff, whether that be externally and paying for ads or internally paying with time. You are paying for that stuff, and you want it to be as convincing, as compelling as possible, right? So you want that conversion rate to be as high as possible. So how do you increase your conversion rate? Well, the answer is you do what's called A/B testing. Now, A/B testing is when you actually offer up different versions of your lead pages, of your ads, to the same people. So an A/B test is where your lead page provider is going to say, right, I'm going to give a 50% probability of hosting this page to that person versus this page to that person. And I'm going to measure which one is converting at a higher rate. So you can go out with 2 different messages or multiple different messages and measure which page is converting those people to your conversion factor at the highest conversion rate. So now you're bringing in real numbers, real analytics to your digital marketing and saying, right, now I know which messages are working for my people. And I can start upping that conversion rate by tweaking my pages in order to be able to do it. So the secret of an effective funnel is, number 1, adding value and bringing people in through targeted ads. Number 2, creating effective lead pages so that they want to convert. Number 3, retargeting anybody who doesn't convert on your lead pages through further ads or communications. And then number 4, measuring all of your conversion rates through split testing, A/B testing, right? Measuring all of those individual parts and saying which one is working better. And if you are not measuring your ads and your lead pages, if you don't have multiple versions of these things, you cannot say whether something is working very well or not. You might have, a decent conversion factor number, but if you're not measuring that against other things, you can't really say whether you could be doing any better. So it's really important when you're putting all these things together that you have multiple versions of different things that you can use to be as targeted as possible. And of course, the best thing about having multiple versions of your ads, of your pages, is you can segment them to different audiences and tailor them and make them even more accurate to different things. So if it's on Facebook, you could have a lead page which is sending out ads to people that are interested in coaching, for example, and then on that lead page it's talking all about coaching. And then you could have an ad that's advertising to everyone who's interested in masterminds, right? And then you can bring them to a lead page that's specifically made for masterminds, right? You can segment them, and then when they get to that page, it fits exactly how they got there and what they are looking for, and that will increase your overall conversion rate. So how do you start moving lead pages then? Not just out in ads, how do you just start using lead pages in your overall activity on social, in groups and communities, and how do you start using lead pages anywhere you're at, right? Not just ads. Well, the first way you can do that is to look at the engagement that you're getting and then pick those people out and then offer those lead pages, those lead magnets to those people. So let's say you've got a group and you've got a load of conversation going on in that group. You could be emailing all the people that visit that group and say, hey, looks like you expressed interest in our group. Maybe you'd be interested in joining a webinar. Or you could send out a different email series to say, looks like you've been leaving some comments in our group. Thanks so much for getting involved. Would you like to join our webinar? Or they might be creating content in your group and you could say, hey, thanks so much for creating content in our group and all your amazing posts. We think you might be involved in this webinar. Do come along to the webinar, right? So all of the messages that you're doing are targeted. And what they're doing is they're converting all of those little pieces of activity, of time and effort that you're putting in, right? You're not letting anyone go. You're moving people into a funnel, no matter where they are, where you found them, and you're growing them and converting them into your conversion factor. Let's take that for webinars, right? So if you have a webinar and you get a load of people signed up, all the people that join the webinar, you know you've got them already and you could potentially then sell products to them, sell courses to them. Or what about all the people that signed up to the webinar that didn't attend, right? Now you can start emailing those people and say, hey, thanks so much for signing up for the webinar. Unfortunately, we didn't see you. You missed out on all of this cool stuff. How about joining another webinar, right? So you're segmenting those people, putting them into another webinar funnel. What if you have a webinar where you have a bunch of people who left early, right? Okay, you can email them and say, thanks so much for joining the webinar. Unfortunately, you didn't make it to the end. That's a shame because you missed out on the best bit, which was X. Would you like to read more about it, right? Or maybe you just got people that joined and they didn't convert to your conversion factor. You can go off and communicate to them afterwards as well. It's all about that retargeting and that segmenting to talk to those people in a way that's relevant and that reflects the interactions that they've had already. Let's say you've created a news story in your organization. Anyone who's looked at that news story, you could go out and then communicate to, right? You could look at all the views, all the viewers, and you could email those people and you could say, hey, thanks so much for checking out the news story. Looks like you're interested in X. Would you like to learn more about it through Y? Again, people that have commented, thanks for getting involved in our news story. Looks like you're interested in X. Would you like to come back and answer Y, right? Always putting them back into that funnel, retargeting your people. Because the highest cost is getting the people into that funnel in the first place. Whether that be trying to attract the traffic by creating news stories, which have taken you a lot of time to create, whether that be through ads that you're buying, that's going to cost you a lot of money to buy the ads, so you don't want to lose them. The highest cost is getting them into the funnel in the first place. You know, whether it be creating a whole ton of content on social, and then people start talking to you, you want to be converting those people, right? Don't just want to leave them behind. You've put the effort in to get them at the table. Now is the time to bring them to your conversion factor. Other types of digital marketing might be within courses itself. So let's say you do convert these people and they do come into your course. You might try and increase the interest in that course by doing something like a drip campaign within your course itself, where you slowly release lessons of that course day by day or week by week over there, right? A lot of people will see a whole course and they never get around to the whole thing. So what you could do is do a drip campaign for your course we slowly feed new lessons back into that population slowly over time. You release them, like after week 1 you get this, after week 2 you get this, and then that way they can just do bite-sized stuff in a longer time scale, and they're much more likely to actually take the time and get involved rather than offering everything up at them in one go. And then of course you can scale all of this effort up by using affiliates, whether you call them advocates or affiliates, however you do it, right? Affiliates, advocates, they're people who are going to be bringing you more traffic, right? They're going to be talking to people, pushing people into your funnels and generating more leads for you. And you might reward them financially, or you might reward them through upskilling or profile or organizational benefits. But your affiliates, your advocates, are the fuel for the traffic that goes into your funnel and eventually ends up in your conversion factor. So your advocates might be, let's say you're talking about an internal community, people who want to grow your change network out. So what your advocates do is they draw more people into your change network landing page where people can sign up and become a change agent for you, right? That's the purpose of your advocates. Clear conversion factor, clear call to action for the advocate, clear end result, and again, a result that you can measure through your conversion rates. You might have an affiliate program where you actually just pay affiliates and they might help sell products to you, right? You might give them a lead page which offers a discount for your product. You give that to the affiliates, they distribute it, people go to your lead page, they buy the product, and the affiliates get the cut. Again, entirely purposed on bringing more traffic and more interest into the funnel that you are creating. So the whole idea behind all of this is that funnel aspect, right? It's about pushing your traffic into that funnel and then converting those people. So the question for you, of course, is what's your conversion factor going to be? And that's going to be a question of, well, what's most meaningful for you? If you're talking about an organization, it might be growing out a network. It might be getting more interest in news stories. It might be getting more engagement with something. If you're talking about a product, of course, it would probably be sales. If you're talking about coaching or if you're offering a service, you probably want to be creating an ebook and generating leads, and maybe you want to be converting those leads into appointments later on. Again, that's your conversion factor. But once you know your conversion factor, then you can have the opportunity that you can really, really scale. Because the power of all of this is the ability to be able to scale so that you have your lead pages and you're just pushing more and more people into those lead pages. It's something that you can do as an individual and reach a huge number of people by creating this funnel, by creating that ability to be able to scale, to market out to a very, very large number of people and bring them through and sell them or promote or get people involved with whatever it is that you're doing, right? It doesn't actually have to be as hard as everyone thinks it is, right? The company ClickFunnels talk about a concept called one funnel away, and it is really true. Literally, the only thing you need to launch whatever it is that you're doing is one funnel pulling people through in order to be able to convert them to a specific conversion factor. That's all you need. That is literally all you need. And for me, when I've worked in organizations, I've applied these digital marketing techniques to grow our advocates networks of thousands of people, right? To grow engagement in groups of thousands of people, right? Really bringing the scale into the effort. Most of the time, what do? We post blogs, we post stuff on social. We're always hoping that more people will see it. And we're kind of sat there asking and twiddling our thumbs and praying that more people are going to get involved and someone big is going to do you a favor and share that stuff out. The importance here is when you're creating funnels and you're creating conversion factors, you have a direct value benefit proposition. You can say, for this amount of money or for this amount of time, I can get this number of people through my funnel with this conversion rate, which means that you can scale that according to however much money you have or how much time that you have got. And you can clearly substantiate the value of your time. And that is not true on anything else digital that you can do without these clear funnels leading to those clear conversions. So I think when people get upset and frustrated with social, with online stuff, it's because they don't have a clear conversion factor noted out in the future, and they are not spending their time pushing people through that conversion factor. Yes, all the other activity is good, but it's not going to be able to substantiate the value of your time and money like it would be if you were running a funnel and you could see that outcome. When I have grown out advocates networks in organizations of over 3,000 people, all it was a case of creating my funnel, looking at the conversion rate, and then mapping that out. It allows you to be more patient, it gives you more time, it gives you more energy, and it stops you from wasting time in stuff that doesn't convert. It really, really gives you focus, and then you can drive that first, right? All my time on social, on LinkedIn, on everywhere else, it's always driving towards a conversion factor. And the great thing about a good funnel is that you can have that funnel running whilst you're asleep, right? If you're using paid ads, that thing can be running literally whilst you're asleep. You can be generating leads, dropping them into an email campaign, sending them emails automatically afterwards, literally doing this stuff whilst you sleep, so it doesn't take constant attention and supervision from you like social does. It's something that you can set up and run and monetize, and you can get results out the other side. And that frees up your time to focus on what's important to you and improving your product, improving your service, and doing all the other things that you have going on, as whether you're working in an organization or as a business owner, right? They are incredibly, incredibly effective, and I really, really strongly recommend that you learn more about funnels and you look at how you can bring digital marketing techniques into your business or into your organization. If you haven't started doing it yet, you should be looking at it, right? And remember, all of the stuff I'm talking about today is about adding value to your audience, right? So even though it feels very marketing-y, right, the point is you're adding value to your audience. You're offering them something to get involved in, something that they're going to benefit from, something that you know that they are interested in, and something that they have the opportunity to join and get involved with. So don't feel bad about this stuff. Don't feel bad about putting ads together and offering products. This is stuff that you are adding value for. This is stuff that people are interested in. And you want to be pushing that out because you want to add value to those people. So think of it much more in terms of how do I scale my effort for my business and create bigger and bigger things for my business? And how do I do it without pushing out all of my time into social and other things, right? This is how you do it. This is how you do it. It literally is, like I say, one funnel away from setting those things up. So I'll include some links in the show notes of places that you can go and sign up for some of these services to learn more and to get more involved with these things. And do leave me a comment, whether it's get in touch with me on Instagram, DM me on Instagram, send me an email, dan@imdanthomas.com, or just get in touch with me through the website, through email, or you can even call me on Skype. Just look up I'm Dan Thomas on Skype, and you can leave me a voicemail on Skype, and we can talk on Skype as well, because I really want to hear how you are applying these digital marketing techniques in your business, in your organization, because I promise you they are incredibly powerful, and they work, and they make the time that you invest in all these things so much more valuable. More engagement, more webinar attendees, more workshop attendees, more advocates, all of this stuff is going to get you bigger and better results. And that is the very, very best thing that you can be doing with your time and for your organization. Phew. I always say phew at the end of my podcast because it's always like really loaded with stuff, isn't it? But hopefully that's given you the sort of a very quick overview. I know we covered a whole load of things in that as well, and there's going to be a lot to take in. So, listen back to it and take it all in, let it soak in and see how it works. But again, it's really just about creating a compelling proposition, driving traffic to it, and then retargeting that traffic back into that proposition according to how they left and where they went afterwards, right? If you can get that in your head, digital marketing is much simpler than you think it is, right? It really, really is simpler. All the nuts and bolts of how do I create a lead page, how do I create, a checkout page, how do I create all of these technical parts, you'll get to them, and there's lots of different services that can offer you alternatives and solutions for digital marketing, for lead creation, and all of these other things. All you need to remember in your head is, how do I create something that adds value and then pull traffic into a funnel that then leads to a conversion rate. That's all you've got to remember. All the rest of it is just part of that concept and growing out that concept. So I hope that was helpful for you all, and to just whiz through all that digital marketing stuff. Make sure you get in touch with me. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit subscribe. If you want to leave me a review, leave me a review. If you want to see a replay of this, head over to Instagram and you can see the live replay of this as well at I'm Dan Thomas. Follow me over there and get loads more behind the scenes and motivation on my Instagram as well. Hit me a follow and it'll be awesome to see you. So thanks again everyone for joining me today, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye.